Um, yeah, so no, I'm not even gonna make that joke. I'm not. Oh my god. Oh my god. No, don't, don't. No, 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 no. Hey everybody, this is Minion Soldier. This is Calling All Minions. Let's get started. Alright, Formy asks, allow us to use rec via the website. Hi, I am a sub getting 40,000 rec a month, and I cannot use it. People just say it's a known issue, but I want to use the rec to test ships and setups. Just allow us to get EA items back on the website. If it cannot be fixed, please fix this so I can enjoy my rec. I kind of know where you're coming from. As a longtime subscriber to the game, I have a dizzying amount of rec that I really can't use. I think there are some known workarounds, but the truth is that I've largely abandoned it, and I wish that there was. I think that the fear is that people are going to use the rec in the PU, and they're just going to take, whatever happens to be the good fitting this week, and go out there and smash people with it. And maybe CIG doesn't want that, or they don't want it to feel like, oh, it's pay to win, you got a sub so you can get all the rec, so you can buy all the weapons, and they don't want to deal with the complaints maybe. Or it could be a technical issue with the website. I mean, they had it working before, but maybe something in the transition to where we are now from where were then limits their ability to do this. I don't know, behind the scenes what technical work there is. There's a lot of possible viable applications, or explanations rather, for why this isn't working, but truth be told, I can't see why it wouldn't be a good reason to let us do this, because the one thing that you desperately want in early access gaming is you want players to test and look and try to expose loopholes, bad ideas, imbalances, broken items in your game as much as possible. Some people might look at this and say, well, that generates bad press for the game, but it generates a better game in the end by being able to go out there and test a whole bunch of different things. And I wish that this was, available, but unfortunately it isn't. Hopefully at some point soon, though, it will be. Oh, well, repeated, I guess. Variance versus modularity. There's more money in variance than there is in modularity. Let's see. The Aurora and the Mustang, why can't they properly haul boxes? Script or AI? What will it be? It'll be script, because AI doesn't exist. Let's see. Armors, die system, or colored variants? Probably going to be colored variants. Wait, I should stop trying to answer these quickly and just get into them. All right, last thing we've heard about armor coloring, and I expect this might also be the case for ships, possibly weapons, and other player-owned assets, was that they were about to decide if we get a real dye system where players can choose the color items in the game themselves with different dye channels, or if we get different colored variants of the same item. Currently, it looks like CIG decided against the dye system and for the colored variants. Is it true that this decision was made this way? Will we not see a dye system for armor, or are armor colored variants just a placeholder to give us more variety right now until the dye system is fully developed? I don't think that there's been a firm decision made either way. I think that if they were to go to strictly their own in-house version of colored armors, which you can currently now see in 3.5, a lot of these custom color jobs that they've done are kind of like, I mean, in a way it's kind of uplifting, but at the same time it's kind of depressing because I mean, it's great that they're giving opportunities to people who are clearly completely colorblind, but I mean, that's a nice thing, but for the game, it's kind of bad because a lot of the custom color jobs look really awful. I mean, brutal. Um, I really, really hope that we get a custom dye that we can do, that we can change the color of, various parts of the armor, and we can make it suit our own personality and our own tastes. I hope that we go that way. But the truth is that there's probably a lot of monetization potential in kind of creating sets that you can retail and sell. I mean, that's kind of a dark way of looking at it, but there's probably more money in it that way. And you have to think that with the, CIG doesn't own their own servers, and I don't think that they could really afford to put up their own servers. They rent servers, right? So they have to really start thinking about how they're going to monetize this game to keep the income coming in. Some people will say, they've got $200 million. Yeah, but most of that's probably already spent developing the game, and maintaining a game of this size and this complexity is probably not going to be cheap. So there's probably more than a few people who are looking at this and saying this is a great way to monetize and kind of keep the game live. And so I don't know where this is going to end up, but I would love to see a die system, because I always find that being able to exercise your own creativity even within the constraints that most games offer is far more rewarding than just buying a set off of a website, which to me is just kind of shitty. Jitaru asks, ship mods not claimable. Short and sweet. The mods applied to your ship should be included on a new claimed ship. At a fee would... Okay, yeah. So, this is actually something that I think on one of the last Calling All Devs that they actually ever did. The lead guy over there in Germany, not the Metallica dude, but the other guy, the brown-haired guy. I forget his name right now. He had indicated that this, the issue of mods disappearing from your ship, once your ship was destroyed, not being included in the insurance, was kind of a downer. And it's something that is an internal discussion, something that possibly may be implemented in the future, and sooner rather than later. What you say there at the end, I completely agree. It makes the game much more playable and much more fun when you're not constantly losing mods to, just combat or server disconnects or, game crashes, things that are out of your control, which kind of run against the idea of actually wanting to play the game and mod your ship up. I mean, you already know that you're going to get erased after 3 months, and anytime you play, you could just randomly crash or disconnect and you lose all that progression. It kind of dampens the fun or the enjoyment of actually playing what there is of Star Citizen right now. So I agree, it is something that they're going to implement. We have no idea as to when, or something that they're talking about implementing. Let me be clear there. We don't know when and if. And it is probably not going to be sooner rather than later, because this is more of a player concern and not a developer concern, and unfortunately player concerns kind of tend to take a backseat, and that's not a dig against CIG, that's a dig against every game developer out there. Blizzard. Script or AI, what will it be? It'll be script. There's no such thing as AI. Trade. All the risk, low reward. Merlin asks, currently when you make 5,000 to 8,000 UEC in 10 to 15 minutes doing pickup and delivery or bounty hunting missions, so let's call minimum wage 25,000 UEC hereafter referred to as, oh dude, are you a lawyer IRL? I mean, seriously. In a big haul ship like a Constellation or Freelancer Max, not really a big haul ship, my dude, you can earn 50 to 60k per hour hauling cargo, but if you're risking about but you are risking about 200,000 to 250,000 space pesos to do so, which, but you can make 25 to 30 an hour doing missions. So you want to make more money. When you're out doing combat and combat missions, chances are you're probably going to run into some kind of opposition. And so that makes, the missions are a lot more simple, but you run a higher degree or a higher chance of running into opposition in a later, more developed part of the game. Whereas, currently you can run into pirates and, yes, griefers, but in the final version of the game, it's probably going to be a lot more tame in certain areas of space. So what you're seeing is the beginning of something. You're not really seeing what the end is going to be. So some of the pieces are there and some of the pieces aren't reflected yet. So I think it's a little early to kind of look at the economy and say, wow, this is broken and this needs to be changed. I would say that while I do agree that there is a legitimate concern there, I think that addressing things like server stability and crashes to making that money a little bit easier would probably get you a little bit further than, nitpicking over, price differentials in the current version of the game, which can vary wildly. I mean, geez, when 3.0 first came out, after it got stable, after a long time, when it finally started to get stable and we could actually get an hour of gameplay out of it, we were very quickly able to rack up millions of dollars trading on things from cutlasses to caterpillars. The amount of money you could make was incredible. And so it's going to vary. And so this is not really the time to really kind of get into a discussion like this. We're not there yet. All right, let's see. Small exploration ship rolls. They're for exploring, but smaller areas. Crom. Exclusive weapons losing. I recently lost my exclusive arrowhead while switching weapons because of a bug, but since the weapon is not buyable, I had to request a reset of coping account to the upper support again. So I was wondering, what if you, alongside the gold bronze exclusive weapon you receive as a perk, you obtain the right to buy that weapon in every shop? Yeah, basically, it should be a thing. I realize what they're doing is they're trying to make it feel like, oh my God, it's so real. Like if you lose and you've got your gun out and you get shot, then, you really lose your gun. But things like this, like these exclusive perk rewards, whether it's the pistol or whatever, you should really just be able to constantly pull this out of your inventory, out of your magical inventory, until we get to a point where the game can, be in a state where it's a lot more real. Because once again, this is like the ship mods and everything like that. It's too easy to lose things in ways that are out of your power. So having a mechanic like this in the game is a little bit too punishing right now. And currently having to go around the entire star system fishing for one weapon is kind of bullshit. So yeah, I agree. We should be able to buy this thing at least at every shop, but for like 1 UEC. Whatever happened to this? Oh yeah! Whatever happened to this armor set? I agree 100%. This is that, I think, wasn't that originally the ArcCorp security armor set? Or no, Hurston. I think this was originally pitched as the Hurston armor set. Because this armor set looks completely badass. This looks like a wicked ass bounty hunter set. I wish this was in game. I really, really do. I mean, yeah, CIG, whatever happened to this armor set, and why don't I already own it? I mean, this Rust Society set that I've been collecting off of my subscriber perks, dude, you can throw that out in airlock. Give me this. Specifically this one right here. That's what I want. Damn, that's a good question. Where is that armor set? Let's see. When will we see large-scale air traffic above ArcCorp? It still looks like an empty dead... Well, it's probably a question of what the server can handle. So having all these ships... You know, at one point, I think it was during the last Star Citizen anniversary presentation, or perhaps the one before that where they were talking, I think it was maybe the one before that when they were talking about Hurston. They were talking about you're going to start seeing ships coming in and landing and taking off and flying up into the atmosphere, just not too big because it's a planet and big ships can't land there anymore, even though we've shown them landed there. I would like to see that, but it's probably something that it's adding too much load to the server, and as we know, the servers are pretty much pushed to the firewall right now. And until they get server meshing, it's probably not something that we're going to see. Alright, let's look for a last one. Let's look for a good last one here. Large scale air traffic. Come on, something good, something really good here. Pointing out uses incorrect terms as slang. Jesus. Python code debug. Oh Christ. State of the Anvil Crucible. Fenrir asks, State of the Anvil Crucible. With repair going into Star Citizen in the near future, every one of us that owns a salvage ship would like to tell you, do not count your eggs before they're hatched, young man. What's under the hood for the Anvil Crucible? You mean, oh no. We haven't heard much about it, and there's a reason. And for some of us, really, that can't wait to take a look at it. What news update can you give us? Can you give CIG? What? What can you give CIG about it? What is the state of the Anvil Crucible? The Anvil Crucible is basically a 3D model that has generated a number of JPEGs that is probably long since forgotten. They're aware that it exists, but it's somewhere in the quote-unquote backlog, and so chances are your first repair ship is actually going to be the Vulcan, and you're probably not going to see the Anvil Crucible in-game for the better part of 3 years. Because it's nowhere on the timetable right now. It has a unique function that goes along with it that remains to be seen if it's even going to make it in the game this year, because once again, it's one of those things that, like salvage, like refueling, you know, it's like, oh yeah, it's coming, and it's no, it isn't, you know, data running as well. And it's a big ship, so it's going to take a while to put it together. So chances are this is nothing that you're going to see anytime soon. Sorry to say. Hopefully, I don't know if you got a Vulcan or something like that, or they give you a Vulcan as a loaner, which they should. You'll get to experience repair from that. But yeah, the Crucible coming out anytime in the next 2 to 3 years, I would not count on it. Just being honest. And with that downer, we are going to end the episode here. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.
Thank you for watching. So if you want to keep up with the latest and greatest in Star Citizen and Squadron 42's development, please follow us on our social media channels. See you soon.